Sean Hammond with PremierGuitar.com. We're at the Gretsch booth, NAMM 2013, talking to Joe Carducci from Gretsch. He's the man here, and we're looking at a few different awesome guitars you guys have new at the show. To start off with, we've got the new Billy Duffy signature model. Tell us about it.
Billy Duffy, the Cult. Being a big Cult fan, ever since they came about in the 80s, I dig the band, dig their music, and of course Billy's one of those guys that had made that white Falcon part of his identity, part of the sound of the band, and to be able to not only be a fan but then have our paths cross to work directly with Billy to work on this project. And really the guitar, his number one white Falcon, it was a Baldwin era Gretsch guitar, and there were elements about it that, as people that know the Gretsch lore know that Baldwin certainly took liberties of what that famous recipe of Gretsch guitars that they were making in Brooklyn, New York. However, there are some elements with it that worked really well with players that played through large amplifiers and big venues. And so I like to paraphrase Billy. He calls his new model kind of new, improved, more bionic than his original one. What we did, though, indeed, he gave us access to his number one guitar, and we took it to a medical clinic and had a CAT scan done on it so that we can crack the code as far as the purfling, which is the wood that holds the guitar together. How many layers of wood was it, the top, back, and sides, to make sure that we captured the essence of what that guitar was all about. And then over and above that, once we got all that detailed information, we talked to Billy as far as things that he didn't like about the guitar. So that was pretty much the DNA of how we came up with the new Billy Duffy model guitar. And one of the interesting facts is when you see number one in person, the guitar was originally a gold sparkle Falcon, but that guitar has seen its day, and when you looked at his guitar up close, your reaction is, wow, is that gold sparkle? Is that silver sparkle? Because it was so worn. And when we had that discussion, Billy goes, you know what? Let's do it silver sparkle to make it different. And so that was one of the things that we maintained with the guitar. And of course, the other element that he wasn't happy with his original one is that the pin, the bridge wasn't pinned. So that's a stock thing with the new Billy Duffy guitar. It has a pin bridge. It's white and with silver sparkle binding around the treatment around the neck and around the body, around the sound holes. We certainly maintain the Baldwin era size sound holes on the body, and we reversed engineers the pickups that he had on his original guitar, and to again capture, because they weren't stock pickups, and so again we reversed engineered it and to get the pole pieces that were identical to his original guitar to capture the tone as closely as possible. When we came with prototype number one to him, we nailed it. He took it and used it on a gig immediately thereafter, and used it in a video. And this year Gretsch is celebrating the 130th anniversary. And in fact, the Gretsch family recognized the importance of that guitar to the Cult and to Billy Duffy. That what you see here is a proclamation that was presented to Billy just last night for his contribution to the legacy of Gretsch guitars, which of course the Gretsch Guitar Company is now 130 years old. And it's people like Billy Duffy that is carrying on that legacy to new generations of young folks that dig him and his band. And again, it's very identifiable to Billy and his DNA, if you will, of his guitar style. So we're very proud and honored to introduce in 2013 the Billy Duffy signature model Gretsch guitar.
Now, you've talked about a lot of the really notable things about the guitar, and people who are familiar with Gretsch's or maybe not so familiar but just kind of know the general thing, they'll notice that the bent Bigsby vibrato bar is different. Not that many guys use that these days, but that's what Billy prefers. You can see the pickups are different, but there's some other things that are unusual. Like, can we take a look at the back? Like one of these differences you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, one of the things that on Billy's number one, it had a back pad on it. He didn't dig that, so we didn't add it on this guitar. This cover is really just a decoration, because the Baldwin era guitars, that's how you had access to adjusting the truss rod. It was very difficult to adjust. So that was one of the changes that we made, is we added the more contemporary truss rod adjustment here at the headstock, and that gave a great platform to be able to do a special truss rod cover that it bears his signature on it. Let's see, we did maintain the Grover Imperial tuners with the big, we call butterbean tuners. He wanted the
zero fret.
There you go, the zero fret, the very Baldwin era slender headstock design we maintained as well. And the interesting thing about the guitar is that, as those people are guitar players that are familiar with the Cult and that tonality, that, it's got a sound post in the guitar, which at extreme high volumes is not high gain friendly. They howl and squeal like a cheap microphone, really. And what Billy had done is he says he puts, when he goes from city to city, he takes hotel towels and stuffs it inside the guitar to dampen it. And so to maintain that element with Billy Duffy, the guitar comes with a Billy Duffy towel that has the Cult logo on it and Billy Duffy's signature, that you could either stick it in the guitar if you wish, or you could have it as just as a token of part of the package for the Billy Duffy guitar.
These are authentic used Billy Duffy towels. Just kidding.
No,
But I find it interesting because we're about to talk about a bunch of other way cool Gretsches behind us that have center blocks in them to sort of deal with the same issues. But it's a testament, I guess, to how dedicated Billy is to this exact formula for him. He doesn't want to mess with it, that he didn't just choose to have a center block. He still was going for the same approach with the towels or the foam or whatever he finds to put in there, right?
Yeah, it's most guitar players like to, it doesn't matter what brand it is, guys personalize them. What feels like home to one guy to another person will go, well, that's not me. As you know, some guys like high action, some guys like them real low, some guys like real light gauge strings, some like them real heavy. So it was just a way that one of the elements that Billy used to personalize the guitar to make it work for his application.
All right, guys, we've got Rick Hines here. He's going to show us the Billy Duffy signature model here in all its glory with all the different pickup combinations and tone switches, engaged and disengaged. Rick? Nice. Sounds really good, man. Should mention we're hearing it through a new 57 Bandmaster. Now we're standing in front of the wall with 6 new guitars. There are 3 each in 2 different colors, white and black. Tell us about those.
Absolutely. For the past 10 years, this is a guitar that's designed for players that we haven't been speaking to, and what the purpose of a center block, as we discussed with the Billy Duffy guitar. In his case, he used towels to dampen the guitar. In this case, we added a spruce center block down the center of the guitar, and here's we had it CAT scan so people can actually see how the center block sits inside the guitar. It's actually chambered. It was important to us that if you add a center block inside of a guitar, it adds weight to a guitar. We use a spruce center block, which has a much more livelier sound to it tonally, and we chambered it just to remove some of the weight from the guitar. And at this point in time, the new center block series of models are the thinnest bodies that we produce at this time, which is at 1.75 inches versus like a Tennessee Rose model, which prior was the thinnest body we made, which was actually 2 inches. And normally Falcons have a 17-inch bout. What we did is when we created the center block model, again having weight be a concern, we made it a 16-inch bout, which again makes the guitar lighter. And again, this is all about being high gain friendly, but still maintain the integrity of the recipe and the look and the design of Gretsch guitars, which makes them real special and unique. I like to say they're an animal with their own stripes. And so, again, by still maintaining the wooden bridge base that Gretsch is famous for, but in this case, with the center block models, we still maintained it, but they're pinned so that they don't move, and that the center block dimensionally goes through the guitar, and it kind of, the width of it is to these bridge posts. So the bridge base actually hangs over the center block and transfers energy into the sound chambers. And we, in fact, A/B'd it from using a wood base versus using thimbles in just directly into the sound post. It had a different sound to it. And we found that it had a much fuller sound by using the bridge base, which of course it was a perfect fit because that's part of the recipe of Gretsch guitars.
More authentic sound.
There you go.
Now, do these also have maple laminate top and back?
Yes, part of the recipe of all the Pro Series guitars is that they're 3-ply maple, top, back, and sides. And if you look at pricing of vintage guitars, of Gretsch guitars, the ones that get the high dollars are the ones that were made in Brooklyn, New York, versus the Baldwin era ones where they took liberty of the recipe, and we found when we did CAT scans on some Baldwin eras, some of them were 7-ply, some of them were 8-ply, which makes them real heavy and real stiff. So that was another element that we maintained with the new center block models, was a 3-ply laminated maple top, back, and sides.
Now, spruce is widely known as obviously used a lot in acoustic guitars, so I assume that was sort of the reasoning to sort of enhance some of the acoustic qualities in the semi-hollow construction.
Absolutely, and we experimented. We tried center blocks using maple, and we tried it, of course, with the spruce. And when we A/B'd it, it's not really that one was better than the other. We just liked the sound of the spruce center block, which, of course, spruce is a lighter wood as well. So again, keeping one eye on the weight of the instrument to make it comfortable for players to have, so it wasn't like a boat anchor around your neck, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So again, that was part of the strategy of using a spruce center block versus maple or any other type of wood.
Now, these are available in double cutaway and single cutaway versions. You can get the Bigsby or gold or silver hardware.
There you go. So what I'm holding here is the white center block model that has, it's a Falcon model that has all the gold sparkle appointments. And then moving over next to it is the double cutaway version that comes stock, again with the pin bridge, but with a Bigsby tailpiece. And in my travels, I've met, what makes the world go around, there's different style of guitarists that have different feelings about what is their identity as a guitar player.
Some guys just hate the gold hardware.
Yeah, I talk to guys, they go, that's a real cool guitar, but I don't think it's me because it looks too Liberace to take to a blues jam.
And they're used to the older vintage ones that started off with gold, but it all rubbed off and it looks aged and cool now, and so it's a nice middle ground.
There you go. So what we did is we offered basically the new Panther model, which is a brand new model for Gretsch guitars that we introduced as part of this center block series that has just standard multi-bound body that's multi-bound just with white, black, white. And again, it's a lot less pretentious, if you will, and this is for that kind of player and that kind of guy.
Is the price a little lower on this one too?
In fact, it is a little bit lower.
So the pickups, are they the Filtertron style? They're not TV Jones, they're your modern take on the Filtertron?
Correct, and what we did is that the Filtertron pickup, there's a recipe to this pickup. And of course, most guitar players, no matter what guitar they buy, there's that never-ending search for the ultimate sound. And so what we did with this series of guitars, we are using our stock Filtertron pickup, and it's a dual coil, so they're low noise, and it's all about, Gretsch guitars is all about clarity and good tone, rather than having it distort at a really early volume. You know, that's why they make pedals and fuzz tones and preamps and that sort of thing. So again, as a guitar player, playing guitar all my life, getting a great sounding guitar from the voice of your instrument, you can then patch it through anything that you want to color the sound, to make it work for your application. And so, and again, we just decided, we made a conscious effort that we would start with the Filtertron pickup. It's a great sounding pickup, and there you have it.
Cool. I also noticed this one has the 1/4-inch jack on the top. That's a difference.
That's something else that we did. That was just a spin on the instrument to make it different and new. And so that's right. We put the input jack on this model on the front of the guitar to make it unique and different and make it its own identity. And so of course, one would need to have a right angle plug to mate with this instrument.
Right. Let's go hear this. Guys, we have another treat for you from Gretsch. We got Steven Stern from the Custom Shop, and he's going to tell us about two way cool new models here hanging on the wall. Steven, thanks for joining us. Tell us about the blue guitar we're seeing here first.
This one here is a Falcon with 55 style inlays, headstock, but with the trestle bracing and the Filtertron pickups in Lake Placid blue with silver sparkle binding, and with matching painted pick guard. And I just thought that this would lend itself really well with the Lake Placid blue and the silver sparkle.
It's gorgeous.
Really would tie in together. And with the chrome parts, I thought it would just be a really good combination.
It's beautiful. It's got TV Jones in there, those...
Filtertrons, yes. And Bigsby tailpiece. It has the...
Space bridge.
Yeah, vintage correct space control bridge. Duncan Imperial tuners, tone switch circuitry, master volume, neck and bridge volume, and it's a beaut.
It is gorgeous. All right, next to that you've got a one-off red guitar.
It's trans red quilt maple, backsides, flame neck with tortoiseshell binding, and it has the 59 style neck thumbnail inlays with the chrome Gretsch logo, 59 style with the plate on headstock plate, and trestle bracing, the TV Jones Filtertron pickups. This has a Adjustomatic bridge with ebony bridge bass, and then in the same circuitry.
Classic.
Yeah, the classic. But
I've never seen the tortoiseshell binding on a Gretsch before. Is that a first for you?
It is. We've done a few others, and I really love the tortoiseshell binding. I think it's really classic, and it lends itself to Gretsch with, when you do it with the the figured wood or maybe aged natural, it looks really good. It has
a real Art Deco quality to it.
Really a classic vibe, and so you'll be seeing. I have some more ideas with the tortoiseshell binding.
Sure you do. All right, Steven, thanks so much for joining us.
Very much.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. You've told us a ton about all these way cool new guitars. Where can people go to find out more about them online?
GretschGuitars.com. And don't forget, Gretsch is celebrating 130 years in business. There's not too many companies that can make that claim.
Very cool. I'm Sean Hammond with Premier Guitar. Don't forget to subscribe right here to all our new NAMM videos.